Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to talk about a very interesting and valuable coin in Australia, 50 cents a 1973 coin, especially the one that has developed a rust black appearance over time and is still in fine condition. If you are a coin collector, or even just someone curious about old coins lying around at home, this video could be very useful for you. Let's start with a little history. The Australian 50-cent coin was first introduced in 1966 when Australia shifted to decimal currency. The 1973 version belongs to the early years of this series, which already makes it historically meaningful. These coins were part of everyday circulation, used by millions of people in their daily lives, but over time, many of them disappeared or got damaged. So finding one today, especially from 1973, already carries a sense of nostalgia and value. Now let's talk about the condition. The coin we are discussing today has a rust black tone. Normally, Australian 50-cent coins are made of cupronickel, which does not rust like iron. But over time, due to environmental exposure, dirt, oxidation, and storage conditions, the surface can turn darker or even blackish. This rust black look can actually make the coin more interesting visually, especially for collectors who appreciate natural aging. If the coin is still in fine condition, meaning the details like the coat of arms, kangaroo, emu, and Queen Elizabeth II's portrait are still visible, then it holds even more value. Talking about its background and composition, the 1973 Australian 50-cent coin is made from which makes it stand out from most round coins. This distinctive design is one of the reasons why collectors love it. The coin features the Australian coat of arms on one side, symbolizing national pride, and Queen Elizabeth II on the other side, representing the monarchy connection. Now let's move toward collector demand. In today's market, coin collectors are always looking for older coins with unique conditions. A 1973 coin with a blackened or toned appearance can attract attention because it shows natural aging rather than artificial cleaning. Many collectors actually prefer coins that have not been polished or altered. The demand increases further if the coin is rare in that specific condition or if it has been preserved well over decades. Coming to the most exciting part, the current market value. The value of a 1973 Australian 50-cent coin can vary depending on its condition, rarity, and appearance. A normal circulated coin might be worth around $1.45, 0 to 70,000 Australian dollars. However, if the coin is in fine condition, with a unique black tone and clear details, collectors may pay anywhere from $2.30, 0 to 288,000 Australian dollars, or even more in some cases. If the coin has exceptional preservation or is part of a collectible set, the value could go higher. The key point here is that condition and presentation matter a lot. Now let's talk about some helpful tips for collectors. If you have such a coin, always avoid cleaning it aggressively because that can reduce its value. Store your coins in a dry, safe place, preferably in coin holders or albums. Try to learn about grading standards because understanding coin condition can help you estimate value better. Also, connecting with collector communities or checking online marketplaces can give you a realistic idea of how much your coin might sell for. Finally, let's conclude this discussion. The Australia 50 cents 1973 coin may look simple at first glance, but it carries history, design beauty, and collector interest. Even a rust-black old coin in fine condition can have meaningful value both financially and emotionally. So next time you come across an old coin, don't ignore it. It might just be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Next up, today we are diving into a fascinating piece of modern numismatic history that many collectors around the world often overlook, yet it carries strong interest in the coin market even today. This video is all about the Australia 50 cents, 1996 coin, its fine condition value in today's market, and why collectors continue to appreciate it with growing enthusiasm. To begin with, the Australia 50 cents coin from 1996 holds a special place in the Royal Australian Mint series. This coin belongs to the well-known 12-sided dodecagonal shape design that Australia introduced in the late 1960s. making it instantly recognizable and unique compared to most round coins used globally. The 1996 issue continues the tradition of the coat of arms design, which symbolizes Australia's national identity, with the emu and kangaroo supporting the shield. These iconic animals are not just decorative elements, but a proud representation of a nation that moves forward, as neither animal can easily move backward. That symbolism alone adds emotional and historical value for many collectors. When we talk about the condition of this coin, especially in fine condition, it becomes important to understand what that means in the numismatic world. A fine condition coin generally shows moderate circulation wear, but the main design details are still clearly visible. On the Australia 50 cents 1996 coin, you would still be able to clearly see the outlines of the coat of arms, though some fine details like texture lines or sharp edges may appear slightly softened due to circulation. Even so, the coin maintains its identity and appeal, which is exactly what keeps it relevant among collectors who enjoy coins with real historical circulation rather than perfect mint state pieces. Now let's take a closer look at its metal composition and physical characteristics, because this is another interesting aspect that adds to its story. The Australia 50 cents coin is composed primarily of cupronickel, which is a blend of copper and nickel. This combination was chosen because it provides durability, resistance to corrosion, and a long-lasting shine even after years of use. The coin is also relatively large and heavy compared to smaller denomination coins, which makes it feel substantial in hand. Its 12-sided shape was originally introduced not just for design purposes, but also to help visually impaired users easily identify the coin by touch. By 1996, this design had already become an established and trusted part of everyday Australian currency. Moving into collector demand, we find that coins like the 1996 Australia 50 cents continue to attract attention for several reasons. First, collectors who focus on Australian decimal coins often aim to complete full-year sets, and the 1996 issue is an essential part of that journey. Second, even though this coin is not considered extremely rare, its availability in higher grades is always more desirable, which increases interest in well-preserved examples. Third, international collectors who specialize in world coins often include Australian coins in their collections because of their unique shapes and consistent quality. All of this creates a steady and reliable demand in the numismatic market. When it comes to current market value, it is important to understand that the Australia 50 cents 1996 coin in fine condition typically does not command extremely high prices, but it still holds collectible value beyond its. In today's market, a circulated fine condition example often sells in $2, $45,000 of $75,000, depending on the buyer, seller, and overall demand at the time of sale. While it may not be a rare investment coin, its value becomes more meaningful when sold as part of a collection or paired with other Australian coins from the same era. Higher grade versions, especially those closer to uncirculated condition, can naturally achieve better prices and stronger collector interest. For collectors who are just starting their journey, this coin offers a wonderful opportunity to learn and grow in the hobby. One important tip is to always pay attention to condition, because even common coins can become more desirable when they are well preserved. Handling coins carefully, storing them in protective holders, and avoiding unnecessary contact with bare hands can make a big difference over time. Another valuable suggestion is to focus on building complete year sets, as this not only increases knowledge, but also enhances the enjoyment of collecting as a long-term passion. Staying informed about market trends can also help collectors make better decisions when buying or selling coins. In conclusion, the Australia 50 cents 1996 coin in fine condition may not be a rare treasure worth thousands of dollars, but it carries something equally important, which is historical significance, national symbolism, and steady collector interest. It represents a piece of everyday history that circulated through the hands of ordinary people while still holding a place in numismatic collections today. For many collectors, it is not just about high value, but about the story each coin tells, and this coin certainly tells a story worth appreciating. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced collector, this coin is a positive reminder that value in numismatics is not always about rarity alone, but also about connection, history, and passion. Next up, today we are going to explore a very interesting and collectible coin from Australia. The 50 cents coin issued for New South Wales in 2001, especially focusing on its value in very fine condition, and what makes it special for collectors around the world. This coin is part of Australia's commemorative series celebrating the Centenary of Federation, a historic milestone that marked 100 years since the Federation of the Australian Colonies in 1901. The 2001 series was a beautiful tribute, and each state and territory had its own unique design. The New South Wales version stands out with its meaningful symbolism and strong connection to Australian heritage. For many collectors, this coin is not just money, it is a small piece of national history preserved in metal. When we talk about the condition of this coin, especially very fine, we are referring to a coin that has clearly been used in circulation but still maintains a strong level of detail. You can still see the main design elements without major damage, although there may be light wear on high points and minor surface marks. In the world of coin collecting, condition plays a major role in value, and a very fine example sits in a comfortable middle range that many collectors actively search for, because it offers both affordability and historical character. Now let's take a closer look at the background, shape, and composition of this coin. The Australian 50 cents coin from this period is not round like many other coins in the world. Instead, it has a distinctive known as a dodecagon. This unique design makes it easy to recognize just by touch or glance, even without looking closely. The coin is made from cupro-nickel, which is a durable alloy consisting mainly of copper and nickel. This composition gives the coin its silver appearance and ensures it can withstand long circulation life without quick deterioration. It also contributes to the slightly heavier feel that collectors appreciate when holding it. Moving on to collector demand, this coin continues to attract steady interest, especially from collectors who focus on Australian commemorative issues or Federation-themed sets. Many people enjoy collecting the full 2001 state series, and New South Wales is an essential part of that collection. Even casual collectors and beginners often seek this coin because it is historically significant and still relatively accessible in the market. Its popularity is also supported by the fact that Australian commemorative 50-cent coins have a strong following both locally and internationally. Now let's talk about current market value in today's collecting world. For a 2001 New South Wales 50 cents coin in very fine condition, the typical value is usually modest but stable. In most cases, you can expect it to be worth around $1.75, $0 to $250,000, depending on the exact condition, demand at the time of sale, and where it is being sold. In some collector-focused markets, or if paired with a full set, it may reach slightly higher, but generally it remains an affordable and entry-level collectible coin. Its true value is not only in price, but in its historical and educational importance, which makes it a great piece for any collection. For collectors who are interested in building or improving their collection, there are a few helpful tips that can make a big difference. It is always a good idea to handle coins carefully by the edges to avoid fingerprints and surface damage. Storing coins in protective holders or albums helps maintain their condition over time and can preserve their value. When searching for coins like this one, patience is also very important, as better condition examples often appear gradually in circulation finds or coin markets. Learning to identify subtle differences in wear can also help you make smarter collecting decisions and appreciate the finer details of each coin. In conclusion, the Australia 50 cents 2001 New South Wales coin is a wonderful example of modern commemorative coinage that combines history, design, and accessibility. Even in very fine condition, it carries meaningful value for collectors who appreciate its place in Australia's Federation Celebration Series. While its market price remains affordable, its real worth comes from the story it tells and the joy it brings to those who collect it. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced collector, this coin is a great addition that reflects both national pride and the timeless appeal of numismatics. Next up, Today's spotlight is a very interesting and visually appealing piece from Australia. The 50 cents coin featuring Australian fauna themes such as the lorikeet, koala, and wombat, particularly known among collectors for its 2004-era circulation and commemorative style appeal. This coin is not just a piece of currency, but a small work of art that reflects Australia's unique wildlife and national identity. To truly appreciate this coin, we need to begin with its history and condition, then move step by step through its composition, collector demand, and finally what it is actually worth in today's market if it is found in very fine condition. We will also finish with some helpful tips for collectors who are interested in adding similar coins to their collection. When we talk about the history of Australian 50-cent coins, we are really talking about one of the most recognizable denominations in the country's modern coinage system. The 50-cent coin was first introduced in Australia in 1966 when the country switched to decimal currency. Over the years, this coin has become a popular canvas for commemorative designs, especially those celebrating national heritage, wildlife, and important cultural themes. The 2004 Australian 50-cent fauna-themed design, which collectors often associate with iconic animals like the lorikeet, koala, and wombat, represents Australia's deep connection to its natural environment. These animals are not just random illustrations, they symbolize the country's biodiversity and its pride in native wildlife. The koala, for example, is one of the most internationally recognized symbols of Australia, often associated with calmness and uniqueness. The wombat represents resilience and strength, while the lorikeet adds vibrant color and energy to the design concept. When a coin carries such strong symbolic imagery, it tends to gain more attention from both beginner and experienced collectors, especially those who enjoy wildlife-themed numismatics. Now, let's talk about the background and composition of this coin, which is essential for understanding its physical nature and long-term durability. The Australian 50-cent coin is famously known for its distinctive dodecagonal shape, meaning it has 12 sides. This shape was introduced to help people easily distinguish it from other coins by touch alone, which was especially important when decimal currency was first introduced. In terms of composition, the 50-cent coin is made from cupro-nickel, which is a combination of copper and nickel. This alloy gives the coin its silvery appearance and makes it highly resistant to corrosion and wear. Unlike older silver coins, modern Australian 50-cent coins do not contain precious metals, but their value lies in their design, collectability, and condition rather than intrinsic metal value. The coin's weight and structure also make it quite substantial in hand, which many collectors appreciate. When you hold it, you immediately notice that it feels more solid compared to smaller denominations, and this physical presence adds to its appeal as a collectible item. The demand for Australian commemorative 50-cent coins has remained consistently strong over the years, especially for coins that feature wildlife themes. Collectors around the world are attracted to Australian coinage because of its artistic designs and high minting quality. The Fauna series, in particular, appeals to both domestic Australian collectors and international enthusiasts who specialize in animal-themed coin collections. Coins featuring iconic animals like koalas and wombats tend to be especially popular because they represent something instantly recognizable and emotionally engaging. Even collectors who are not specifically focused on Australia often add these coins to their collections simply because of their visual beauty and cultural significance. Another reason demand remains steady is that 50-cent commemorative coins are often collected in full sets. When a collector starts building a series, they usually aim to complete all related designs, which naturally increases demand for each individual coin in that series. This creates a healthy collector market where even common coins can hold stable value if they are in good condition. Now let's talk about the current market value of the 2004 Australian 50-cent fauna-style coin in very fine condition. In general, most standard circulating Australian 50-cent coins from this era are not extremely rare, so their value depends heavily on condition and collector demand, rather than scarcity alone. If the coin is in very fine condition, meaning it has seen circulation, but still retains strong detail, clear design elements, and only light wear, its value in today's collector market typically ranges from around $1 Australian to around $2.70,000 to $3.40,000 Australian dollars, depending on the buyer, the selling platform, and whether it is part of a collector set. If the coin is uncirculated or in mint state condition, the value can rise significantly higher, especially if it comes with original mint packaging or belongs to a recognized commemorative release. However, for a standard, very fine circulated example, the value remains modest but still above face value, which is always encouraging for collectors and sellers alike. It is important to understand that coin value is not fixed. It changes over time based on demand trends, collector interest, and availability in the market. Online auctions, coin fairs, and collector forums often show slight variations in pricing, so the values mentioned represent a realistic general range in today's market, rather than a strict price tag. Now let's move into some useful tips for collectors who are interested in coins like this Australian 50-cent fauna issue. One of the most important things for any collector is condition awareness. Always handle coins carefully, ideally by the edges, to avoid fingerprints and surface damage. Even light contact with skin oils can affect a coin's long-term appearance, especially if it is intended for grading or resale. Storage is also extremely important. Coins should be kept in protective holders, albums, or capsules to prevent scratches and environmental damage. Moisture and humidity can gradually affect even cupronickel coins, so keeping them in a dry environment is always a smart decision. Another helpful tip is to focus on collecting complete series rather than single coins when possible. The Australian commemorative 50-cent series is especially rewarding when collected as a full set, as it gives a more complete picture of the country's design evolution and significantly enhances long-term collector satisfaction. It is also a good idea to stay updated with recent auction results and collector communities. This helps you understand how values are moving and what types of coins are gaining popularity. Sometimes a coin that is common today can become more desirable in the future due to renewed interest or nostalgia. Finally, always buy from trusted sources when expanding your collection. Whether you are purchasing online or at a physical coin fair, authenticity and condition accuracy are key factors that protect your investment and enjoyment as a collector. As we come to the conclusion of today's video, it is clear that the Australian 50-cent coin featuring fauna themes like the Lorikeet, Koala, and Wombat is much more than just pocket change. It is a beautifully designed representation of Australia's natural heritage, crafted in durable cupronickel and shaped in one of the most distinctive coin forms in the world. While its market value in very fine condition remains modest, its true worth lies in its collectability, its artistic design, and its connection to Australia's wildlife identity. For collectors, it represents an accessible and enjoyable entry into the world of numismatics, with steady demand and long-term interest. If you ever come across one of these coins in your change or collection, take a closer look. You might just be holding a small but meaningful piece of Australian history that continues to be appreciated by collectors around the world.